You know that feeling? Like there's a version of your life just waiting for you, but it's stuck just on the other side of fear? Well, the great news is that getting there isn't about some terrifying heroic leap. It's actually about outgrowing that fear, one small, manageable step at a time.
So let me just ask you straight up, what is that one thing? I mean, if you're like most of us, when you really get quiet and dig deep, the answer is probably some kind of fear. Maybe it's a big, loud, obvious one, or maybe it's just that quiet little hesitation that keeps you from really going for what you want.
And here's the core message for today. And honestly, it's a huge relief. That whole old school idea of just face your fears head on, it's intimidating, right? And frankly, it doesn't always work. We're going to talk about a much gentler, more scientific, and way more sustainable way to move past it.
Okay, let's get into it. First, we're going to unpack the science of how fear actually works and, more importantly, how we can gently start to rewire our own brains. This isn't about just gritting your teeth and having more willpower. It's about following a process.
I mean, think about it. Does any of this sound familiar? That knot in your stomach before you have to give a presentation? Or, actively dodging a party because making small talk just feels like too much? Or maybe seeing a really great opportunity but just letting it slide by? Fear is a sneaky thing. It shapes so many of our choices without us even realizing it.
So what's the way out? Well, science has a great word for it: desensitization. And the secret is right there in the definition. Look at those words: gently, repeated, and safe. This is the total opposite of overwhelming yourself. It's all about methodically teaching your brain, hey, see this thing you're freaking out about? It's actually okay. And this slide just illustrates that shift in thinking perfectly. The myth is that you have to go skydiving to get over a fear of heights. But the truth, the effective method, is more about looking out a second-story window, then maybe a third, and just going from there. It's about slowly and consistently expanding your comfort zone, not blowing it to pieces.
So, let's see how we can turn this idea into a real, practical framework. We're calling it the gentle ladder method, which is a perfect way to picture it, right? You're climbing out of that fear one rung at a time.
So how does it work? It's a really simple 4-step process. First, you just have to name the fear. Let's stick with that heights example. Step 2, you start super small. Forget the skyscraper. Just look out a second-story window until it feels a little less intense. Step 3 is the absolute key. You repeat it. You do it again the next day. And finally, once that feels okay, you gradually climb a little higher, maybe up to the 3rd floor. See? It's all methodical, not magical.
And that really brings us to the most important point of all. It's not about one super brave, intense afternoon. It's about the small, consistent things you do every single day. These little micro wins are what create a massive, lasting shift in how your brain deals with what used to scare you.
All right, that's enough theory. The best way to really get this is to feel it for yourself. So I'm going to lay out a super simple 3-day challenge that literally anyone can start today to begin building this muscle.
Okay, here we go. Day 1, super low stakes challenge. Just hold eye contact for an extra second with a cashier or someone you pass on the street. This just builds a little comfort with vulnerability. Day 2, speak up once in a group. It doesn't have to be brilliant, just share an opinion or agree with someone. This helps you push past that social hesitation. Then day 3, just break your routine. Take a different path home. This trains your brain to be a little more flexible with the unknown. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's it? Yep, and it's so much more powerful than it looks. Really pay attention to how each of these little acts feels. That tiny flutter of discomfort, and then the realization that, hey, you were fine. That's the feeling of your comfort zone expanding. That is literally the feeling of growth. So once you've tried the 3-day challenge, you can start building a plan that's tailored just for you. This is where you really become the architect of your own courage, and you're going to use a tool called a fear hierarchy.
The idea behind this is so simple. You just list actions related to your fear, and you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. A 1 is like barely uncomfortable, and a 10 is full-blown panic. Your job? Just start with the 2s and 3s. Get comfortable with those, and only then do you even think about moving up to the 4s. You are always, always in control.
And listen, here's a really important reminder as you start doing this. You are going to have days where it feels harder. You might even feel like you've slipped back down a rung on your ladder. That's completely normal. This is not about being perfect. It's about being gently persistent and just being kind to yourself through the whole process.
But why does all this matter so much? Well, Because when you start to overcome a fear in one area of your life, it doesn't just stay there. It creates this amazing ripple effect that changes how you see yourself and what you believe you're capable of across the board.
This chart shows it perfectly. You start over here with one small act of courage. That courage then builds resilience, your ability to bounce back. And that resilience creates this life-wide confidence. Seriously, the courage you build asking a stranger for directions can translate into the courage you need to ask for a raise. It's all connected. Which brings us right to the end, and to the most important question of all. What is your one small step? Not tomorrow, not next week, today, right now. What is one tiny thing you can do that is just a little bit outside your comfort zone? Pick it, commit to it. That's where the whole transformation starts.
Because at the end of the day, this is the final thought I really want to leave you with. This is not a battle you have to win. Fear isn't some enemy you have to defeat in a big, epic showdown. It's just a boundary. And you don't need to defeat it, you just need to outgrow it, one small, consistent step at a time.